It's your girl Alexa.
And your girl Katresa.
And it's time to get spooked away. Thank you so much for joining us for today's video.
Today we have a couple stories coming at you. Our first story comes from Hilo, Hawaii, from my old roommate Nicole. Thank you, Nicole, for sending us your spooky story. But this story isn't about spooky things, it's about a spooky person. So we lived in this house and we called it the White House because we name every house that we live in.
Just like our cars, you'll get to know us.
Yeah. So we lived in this house called the White House. We had a bunch of roommates and we had just gotten a new roommate. Her name was Katie. And I moved out pretty shortly after she moved in. And Nicole had come home from work one day. She was going to her second job and she walked to her bedroom. She was walking down the hallway and she had to pass one of the bedrooms to get to her bedroom. She knew she was home alone. There were no cars in the driveway. She was just like, all right, gotta grab my things and scoot. And she walks past that first bedroom and she's like, what the? I'm not home alone. So she turns around and she goes and she looks in that bedroom and she sees Katie sitting on the foot of the bed in a vacant bedroom. All there is a dresser and a mirror and an empty bed. She's sitting on the foot of the bed, staring at the wall. Not looking out the window, just staring at the wall. And she sat there for so long, and Nicole just kind of waited. And finally, Katie realizes that Nicole was in the doorway, and she shoots her head to look at the mirror and looks at Nicole and just freezes. So Nicole backs up, walks away. She's like, okay, that was weird. So a couple weeks later, she comes home from work again. Same routine, going from one place to the next. Had to stop at home. She walks in the door to go down the hallway, and again she sees Katie, but this time she's staring at the wall, less than a foot away. Her whole body facing the wall, and she's just staring there with a blank face. And Nicole says, Katie! And Katie stays still, just shoots her head and looks at Nicole with piercing eyes and just stares at her. Nicole said that this happened often. It wasn't just like a one-time thing that was weird, or like, she said it happened really often. It would happen at night, it would happen during the day, where this girl would just be standing there staring at nothing. And she wouldn't be very responsive.
Her mind like completely vacant.
Yeah, it was just very interesting. And we were all kind of scared of that house. It was definitely carrying some energy, some spooks. And there was like a pentagram upside down spray painted on the wall in the basement of that house, so there were definitely things that were there, but Katie certainly didn't help us feel more secure about it.
So our next story is coming from Springville, Utah. That's right, everybody, we're going back. So this is kind of combined stories. They're two different instances, but it's the same place. So the house that we lived in Springville, Utah as children had some issues. It was known to be a little haunted. We had issues there over the years. But this first story is again about I can't even say if it's paranormal, but it's definitely spooky. So when I was a kid, about 4 or 5 years old, I woke up to the sound of complete laughter, like my whole family laughing. And I heard that it was coming from my parents' bedroom. Mine and Katresa's room was right next to theirs, and Katresa was already gone. So I went into the room, and everyone was in there. My parents, all my siblings. When I say everybody, we have 7 siblings. So it was a lot of people. It was everybody. I was kind of wondering, like, what's going on? It was very, like, happy, very good morning. But I shortly noticed that our brother Todd wasn't in there. And so I asked, it's like, where's Todd? And he said, oh, he's still sleeping downstairs. I said, should I go get him? And they kind of had a smile and they were like, yeah, Alexa, you go get Todd. And started giggling. Now, Todd lived in the basement. Dark, scary, dank, cold basement. No one wanted to go down there. No one wanted to bug Todd while he was sleeping. So, me being a 5-year-old child thinking I'm the best, I was like, can't laugh at me. I'm going to go down there and I'm not going to be scared. So, I went down to the top of the basement stairs. And that hallway going down into the basement was pitch black. The light bulb had actually been unscrewed by her brother, so you couldn't even turn the light on. So I started walking down the stairs, calling Todd's name, still trying to get over my fear. Todd. Todd. Nothing. So I peek into his room, and he has blackout curtains. But you could see a little light filtering in, so I could get around easily still. And I didn't see him immediately. It's like, Todd. Todd. Still nothing. So I went up to the back of the couch that was in his bedroom. The back of it faced the door, so I had to walk up to it to look over the side. And I could see him all rolled up in his big black comforter, just in the darkness, in the blanket, just like how he likes it. It's like, Todd, everyone's waiting for you. It's time to wake up. Get up. Come on, Todd. And he grunts and rolls a little bit. I'm like, okay, there's movement. I've done enough. I'm leaving. I don't want to be there when Todd actually wakes up. So I book it upstairs. I get into the room. Everyone's still laughing and enjoying the morning. And I go in there all proud and like, I woke up Todd. And everyone started laughing at me. I was like, what? I woke up Todd. And they're like, no, you didn't. He's at our cousin's house. He slept over. It's like, no, he didn't. He's downstairs. And they started laughing even harder. They're like, no, he's not. He's not even here. And I said, then who's downstairs? My dad looked at me and said, what do you mean? Who's downstairs? I said, if Todd's not home, someone else is down there. Someone is laying on the couch. My dad didn't hesitate. He ran to his closet, grabbed a baseball bat, and started running downstairs. Of course, all 7 of his children, almost all 7, were trailing behind him, wondering what was going on.
Let's go get the bad guy, Dad.
Exactly. And so we all ran into the basement. Of course, our dad trailing way ahead of us. And when we reached the basement, you can see things kind of strewn about. The blanket that Todd had, or who I thought was Todd, had been wrapped in was strewn across the floor. No one was in the room. And the back basement door was open. And it was flooding light into that room. That door was not open when I went down there. It was dark. To this day, no one has any idea who was sleeping down there. No one has any idea who I was inches away from. Todd asked all of his friends to see if they had come over unannounced and stayed the night or what was going on. No one knew. Some stranger, something.
We don't know.
Yep.
So this other story comes from Todd's basement as well. Shout out to Todd. Thank you for sharing your spooky stories with us.
Thank you, Todd.
So him and his friend were really bored one day, and they decided that they wanted to play with a Ouija board. And we don't condone Ouija boards.
You all know how we feel about Ouija boards.
We don't like them.
Nope.
So he and his friend, they were like, let's play with a Ouija board. So it was in the middle of the day. He had his blackout curtain, so his room was dark. They decided that they wanted to ask something to come and move Todd's dolls in his bedroom. Todd was a bit of a hellion. He had... Todd is a bit of a hellion.
Todd is a bit of a hellion.
So he would take like our stuffed animals and would put them on nooses and hang them from his ceiling as decoration in his bedroom.
Like any normal teenage brother would do, right?
We're not judging. But he and his friend, they were like, let's play with this Ouija board and let's see if we can get these dolls to move. So they were like summoning spirits, and nothing happened. So they got bored. They were like, well, this is stupid. Like, let's do something else. And they put the Ouija board away. They didn't even close the ceremony. They were just like, meh, I'm done. And they just sat there and listened to music for a little while. When him and his friend both noticed that something was moving under the staircase. The staircase had nothing underneath it. It was just a dark void. We didn't store anything there. There was just nothing under there. And they noticed something moving. Todd said that he saw a dark, shadowy figure that was long and skinny and just so scary looking, just moving under the staircase. So him and his friend didn't care to stay around and find out what it was. They just took off through the back door. They went to McDonald's and they were out. They didn't care to find out what was going on down there.
I don't think we ever want to go back to that house.
No.
Mm-mm. That was a lot of spooky. But remember, guys, there are more spooky stories in Springville. And this next one, we've all heard her. We've all attempted to talk to her. It's an old favorite, Bloody Mary.
Yeah, Bloody Mary!
So thank you so much, Jesselyn, for sending in this story. This takes place, of course, in Springville, Utah. Jesselyn was hanging out with a friend, and they decided to go over to the friend house. Her name was Cece. Decided to go over to her house to call on Bloody Mary. They were in 5th grade at the time, so don't judge too harshly. And at the time, her friend Cece, the only family member that was at home was her mother, and she was in the garage. There was no one else in the house. So they went to the lower floor basement type area. They went to that bathroom. They went into the bathroom. Cece first, Jesselyn trailing after. They turned off the lights, and they decided that each person would say Bloody Mary 10 times in front of the mirror.
So they're in the bathroom, and Cece is saying Bloody Mary over and over again. And Jesselyn is standing there looking at herself in the mirror, and she notices something appearing behind them. And she can't really tell what it is, but she knows that it's her turn to start saying Bloody Mary soon. She kind of freezes. She's just staring to see what it is. And she claims that it was some sort of light forming or something forming. So she's like, I need to turn around. I need to look at whatever this is. And it was her turn to say Bloody Mary, but she just couldn't. So she turns around to look at what's behind her. And it was gone. She looked back in the mirror. There was nothing there. She goes to grab the bathroom door to just run out. And the door was locked. Both Cece and Jesselyn didn't lock the bathroom door when they went in. Jesselyn was the last one in, and she said she didn't lock the door. And Cece said she didn't lock the door. So Jesselyn's freaking out. She's like, Cece, why did you lock us in? And Cece's scared. She's like, I didn't lock it. I don't know what's happening. So they book it out of the bathroom, and Jesselyn just goes straight home. And to this day, she thinks that whatever was appearing had locked them in the bathroom on purpose. She's still so afraid of that story to this day. I never played with Bloody Mary when I was a kid. I was never into it. I was like,
Me neither.
Not
I
doing
wasn't
it.
playing with that. Nope.
No.
So thank you, everyone, for sharing your stories with us. Nicole, Todd, and Jesselyn, thank you so much.
So if you guys want to send in your spooky stories, you guys know that you can email us at
spookedaway@gmail.com.
or you can hit us up on our Facebook at
Spooked Away.
And good news,
We have an Instagram page now as well. And that's going to be at spooked_away. So you can message us or talk to us on any of those platforms.
absolutely. And also if you want to follow up on our content, see what's coming, if you guys have questions, then we'll be on all of those,
Yep.
showing you guys what's up.
And remember, if you don't want to type out your story, you don't have to.
No, you absolutely do not have to.
No, just message us, let us know that you would rather tell your story, and you can give us a call.
Yep. We'll just be like, hey, what's up? And you'll be like, spooky stuff.
And remember to let us know if you'd like to stay anonymous, because that's really important.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for watching. We will see you next Sunday as per usual.
Thank you so much, and normalize that spook, guys.
Normalize the spook.